Stephen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Give me just the top couple of things that advertisers will look for from these Olympic athletes. What is it that they're trying to get from them personality-wise?
Well, I think that they want to see whether they, one, have a personality. That's the most important thing. Two, do they have a defining characteristic, which is very important. You know, can they actually say or put this person in a position where not only are they a brand endorser, but are they a good spokesperson? Do they have something that the American people want, or even globally what people in general want?
Joining us now, sports attorney Steve Olenick. He's a former adjunct professor teaching sports ethics at Manhattanville College. Sir, nice to see you. Thank you.
Hey, great to be here, Chef.
Big picture, what do you think of this?
Oh, it's tragedy, yet it's a historical event for college sports and in academia. Oh, you're absolutely right, Shep. I mean, it's a tragedy. I mean, for a student athlete now to transfer to another university and to get into a university, because, you know, it's very difficult. You can't just pick up and leave in July and then hope that you're going to be playing football come August. So, I mean, these teams have set depth charts, they have their players, they have their rotation. So for even some of the marquee players of Penn State, you can't just leave and pick up, even if, say, the University of Florida offers you a scholarship.
Right.
It's going to be very difficult.
Attorney Steve Olenick, who's represented professional and Olympic athletes. Thank you for being with us this morning, Steve. And let's listen to what Lolo Jones said on the Today Show after a fourth-place finish, and I'll get your reaction on the other side. So when we see that need, why the backlash?
Well, I think because she didn't win. You know, when you have company endorsing you as a pitch person, you need to win, or else you receive backlash. 100%. It happens all the time. If you don't win, you receive harsh criticism. I think right now, I think with the American public, potentially you're going to start to see Gabby Douglas with the infectious smile, the young, energetic, the person leading into the next Olympics. I think she can really cash in, and she's ripe to actually endorse some teen and preteen products.
Now, what about athletes like Missy Franklin, who could make, what, $2 million a year in sponsorships? That's amazing. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, she's ripe to take and really cash in. The question now becomes, does she forego her college eligibility to take the money in? And I think that with a lot of endorsements and a lot of potential athletes and Olympic athletes, when you have to forego the college eligibility, you also have to realize that your window of opportunity to cash in is very small.
Yeah, some tough choices for these athletes. Steve Olenick, thank you so much for your perspective on the Saturday morning.
To one sports attorney who does legal work for many NBA players, the tentative agreement after a 149-day lockout is a win-win all around.
Now that it's a sliding scale where, depending on how much the league does overall, you might see the players getting 49%, or they potentially might get 51% of the revenue.
So let me get you the last word in on this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that the proposed legislation with the stuff that's going on right now, I think that $50,000 is not any type of cure-all. It's not going to save, or it's not going to prevent anything. I think a lot of times with alcohol, you have people that clearly shouldn't be under the influence, but I think that putting this type of legislation in place isn't necessarily going to solve anything.
All right.
All depends on if he wins. I think if he wins, people forget.
That's so true.
Because that brings us right to Brett Favre, right? If he were winning, if they were playoff bound, he's not right now. And that's what's interesting that's happening with Brett Favre. Sponsors, though, are standing by him despite all this Jen Sturger stuff and everything that's going on there. The NFL really even standing by him, slapping him on the wrist with a $50,000 fine. Will he finally retire in 2011?
Absolutely. I think there's been reports that he said this is his last year. And statistically, he's done absolutely nothing this year. Well, I think it's because of his iconic status. I think Brett Favre is considered one of the greatest NFL quarterbacks to ever play the game.
And let's not compare the two. I think what Tiger has done and what Brett have done, completely different leagues, okay?
Well, can the Eagles go to the Super Bowl with Michael Vick? And do you think they're going to lock him into a long-term contract?
Absolutely. I think what's going to happen, depending on what happens with the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, will determine whether, one, the Eagles either franchise him or sign him to a long-term deal. I think they'll probably try to sign him for at least $50 million over 3 years. And I think statistically, Michael Vick is having one of the best seasons ever playing the game of quarterback.